What's new in CloudBees CI 2.346.2.2? Are you new here? If you are, welcome. And if you are new here, you don't know who I am. My name is Darren Pope, and I'm a developer advocate for CloudBees. CloudBees CI 2.346.2.2 was released on July 13th, 2022. In this video, we're going to take a look at the release notes and talk about some of the new features and fixes that were in that release. I also did a video with Mark Waite on July 14th talking about what's new in Jenkins LTS 2.346.2. You might be interested in taking a look at that video as well. The link to that video is down in the description. So let's take a look at the documentation for this release. And if you've never taken a look at the release notes for CloudBees CI, the way that you can get there is start at docs.cloudbees.com. Under the documentation link, we'll go to CloudBees CI, and under the documentation dropdown, we'll click on Release Notes. And here we land on the release notes. Now I want to call out something that's here at the very top, and it's in this important block. If you skip versions when you upgrade, refer to the previous versions of the release notes for any relevant known issues or upgrade notes. What that means is, let's say that you're upgrading from, we'll go to the bottom here, or way down. Let's say you're upgrading from 2.289.2.2, and now you're planning on upgrading to 2.346.2.2. Well, what you would need to do is to go through each of the upgrade notes and the release notes for each of those versions between the 289.2.2 and the 2.346.2.2. If you are upgrading between a really old version like what we just looked at to a current version, I would recommend reaching out to CloudBees support to where they can help guide you through the processes that you might have to go through. Let's go ahead and start by taking a look at the traditional release notes. Once we finish taking a look at those, we'll go over to take a look at the differences between traditional and modern cloud platforms. So let's go ahead and click into full release notes, and you'll see that there are a couple of new features. Each of these features are based around validation for configuration as code. So there's a new validation log and a new screen. All of these items are for configuration as code, or CASC. I also want to go ahead and call out a couple of the feature enhancements, again, all related to CASC in this release. One of the big ones in this case is allow enabling of the Beekeeper plugin exceptions from the CASC bundle. Now, if you're using that feature of Beekeeper, you can now add in the exceptions just by adding the allow cap exceptions flag. If we go ahead and scroll down through the rest of this, there's been a handful of resolved issues, a lot of it around the UI. There were a lot of fixes introduced in the original 2.346.1 line. So there was user interface here and updated the UI, but I will call out two items from resolved. Number one, if you are using the proprietary pipeline feature from CloudBees that's Checkpoint, there were problems around how that was working, and that has been resolved with this release. And finally, there was a problem with this Kubernetes folder property permitted clouds. Didn't work in CASC. Again, all of that has been resolved. And let's go ahead and scroll down to the known issues. These existing known issues were also known in 2.346.1. But let's go ahead and get down to the upgrade notes. This is really important for anyone running CloudBees CI for traditional platforms. In the September release, so that will be the next major version, so not the next 346 line, but whatever the next number is that comes after 346. That version will require that CloudBees CI and any agents that you are running have to be running Java 11. That doesn't mean that if you're still building Java 8 or Java 7 applications, that's not what you need. What I'm talking about specifically is the version of Java that is going to be required, not optional, but required, is that you have to run Java 11 to run the CloudBees CI controller process and any of the agent processes. Again, you've got about 2 months before that becomes a requirement, but I would go ahead and recommend upgrading Java to Java 11 first, so you have time to work out any of the issues that you may have there prior to waiting until September to upgrade it. So do your Java 11 upgrade first, and then once September comes around, you're not going to have to think about having to do that then. Now let's talk about the modern cloud platform release just for a second. Let's go back over here to the top and we'll click into full release notes. Now in this case, the release notes look exactly the same for modern cloud platform as they did for traditional platform. But there's something that I want to go ahead and call out. Let's go ahead and take a look at CloudBees supported platforms. I'll open that in a new tab, and let's go to CloudBees CI on modern cloud platforms. Now, if we click down into the Red Hat OpenShift container platform, what you're going to notice here is that there is no longer support for OCP 4.6 for 346. That was also true for 332. So at this point, all support for any OpenShift container platforms prior to 4.6 have been completely dropped. And specifically, support for OCP 311 is completely gone. One more thing I want to talk about in this video is if you're watching this before September 27th, 2022, I want to talk to you about DevOps World. If you go over to devopsworld.com, you'll see that DevOps World is coming back live in Orlando, Florida, September 27th, 28th, and 29th. The price for it is $13.50. If we scroll down a little bit more, you can see the basic agenda. There's actually some training and certification that also happens on the Monday, the September 26th. And this keynote start on Wednesday, and the event ends on Thursday evening. It's going to be held at the Orlando World Center Marriott in Orlando, Florida. We'd like to see you there. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach out to us on Twitter at CloudBees. If this video was helpful to you, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to CloudBees TV yet, why not? Take a moment, click on that subscribe button, and then ring that bell, and you'll be notified anytime there's new content available on CloudBees TV. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.